For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise. And you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in on your favorite podcast app. Well, I've got two words for you, everybody. Will Smith. And I see you're already rolling your eyes and groaning, but I mean, come on. Think about this, first of all. I got to tell you, it's Friday, and we're still talking about something. We're still talking about the Oscars from Sunday night. How often has that happened in recent years, ladies and gentlemen? It has not. Even by Monday morning, a lot of times you're not talking about the Oscars or any of the award shows. Look at the ratings going down like crazy. So the fact that Will gave us this monumental moment. If you don't know what I'm talking about, can you Google it right now as you're listening to this? Because you're disgusting. How are you online with podcasts and everything and you don't know what I'm talking about? But anyway, come and slap me in the face then, you asshole. Anyway, but you know, and again, like I said, this is already old news, so I mean, we're not breaking the story here. It just sucks that happened on Sunday night and our show runs on Friday, so we do have that bit of a delay. And in today's rapid-paced world, this is already old news. And you've already heard everybody give their perspective, their opinion, their take on the whole thing. But as an entertainment reporter, I have to chime in as well, no matter how late it is. And, you know, and as an entertainment reporter, this is the kind of stuff that I love, because you've got this event that is already poo-pooed that... Oh, I'm not even supposed to be talking about it yet, am I? All right, I'll get into the Will Smith thing. Sorry, I started rambling already. This segment, I'm just supposed to tell you what's happening on the show. I'm going to go into the Will Smith thing in just a moment. And also, Meredith Vieira, host of the game show 25 Words or Less, will be joining us a little bit halfway through the show. And, you know, we talk about the new season of the show. And it was just a really fun segment. Let me give you some behind-the-scenes info. They don't like when I tell these things, but I will. We taped the radio interview probably about 2 or 3 weeks now, and it was really fun. So when I sat down now this morning to do the show, I was kind of like, oh, that's right, I remember that interview. I had such great laughs with Meredith, and one thing that people don't realize, that when we have a celebrity guest on the radio and it's a phone call, it works one of two ways. Either the publicist connects the call. So the publicist will dial in, oh, Jeremy, you ready for her? Yep, I'm great. Okay, hold on, I'll get her on the line. Then you're put on hold, and then oh, hi, Jeremy, you're on with Meredith. Meredith, Jeremy. And then it's just weird, because then the publicist is also sitting there listening the entire time. It's very strange. Or it works the other way, where we just call the celebrity, or the celebrity calls in directly. Hey, Jeremy, it's Meredith. How's it going? You ready for me? Yeah, okay, let's do this. And that's a little more personal. I've always enjoyed that, because you have that chance to break the ice. And I was told before doing the interview that it's a hard out at 10 minutes, meaning you've got to stop. We've got to be done by 10 minutes. So that means you've got your icebreaker, your pleasantries, your thanks, goodbye, and the segment all done in 10 minutes. So when Meredith called in, we talked for quite a while before actually going into the interview, and I'm thinking, wait a second, I only have 10 minutes. Did we just eat up all this time talking? And because she was taping a bunch of episodes of her game show that day. And then I thought, wait a second, she's also an executive producer. If there's anybody that can make their production late, it's her. And so it was really cool just to kind of, oh, we're getting choppy stuff on the microphone here. Okay, I'm sorry. I hit the desk or something. Okay. I'm reacting in the moment as I see the lines jumping on the screen here, everybody, because I accidentally hit something I wasn't supposed to. Anyway, so with Meredith, we ended up running super long, and I know that the publicists don't like that, but they weren't on the phone, so who cares? So we've got that segment with Meredith coming up in just a bit. We're going to take a break now because we're getting the cracklies on the microphone that it has to be fixed, and I'll talk about Will Smith right after this.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. No offense, but are you a little fat? when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secret to losing 3 to 5 pounds a week without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt RX. For the last 2 decades, we've helped countless people lose thousands of pounds. And now, it's your turn. Learn how to lose weight with one simple phone call and no prescription needed. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a risk-free money-back guarantee. So, if you're ready to start losing weight, call right now and get a free month supply with your first order of Body Sculpt RX. Call now. You have nothing to lose but the pounds. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. That's 800-459-6838.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer. Save the money, save the hassles, and get the better blue pill. Dial 800-578-0179. That's 800-578-0179. 800-578-0179.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. Let's get through this Will Smith thing, all right? Okay, so when it initially happened on Sunday at the Oscars, the initial arguments were fairly clear, right? Will was defending his wife. Will was wrong for assaulting someone. Chris was wrong for making an offensive joke, right? I mean, those were kind of, I guess there were 3 main arguments. Now then, as the hours and days dragged on and the story just kind of snowballed, as it does now on social media and you know, gossip shows and things like that, then you've got this whole, then there's these other sub-arguments where it's that he was a black man defending his wife. This is toxic masculinity, something that a guy does because a woman would never do something like that. And then it was the celebrity getting away with it. He just assaulted somebody live on television. His ass wasn't dragged out there, so, you know, out of the theater. So that's the Academy condoning it, but then you've got the Academy having to put on a show knowing that Will was about to win an award. How do you cover that in the last minute and go, yeah, the winner was just dragged out of here by security or police, so he's not here to accept his award? I mean, there were just so many factors at play that it, you know, in the moment I understand people having to make decisions from a broadcast perspective. Again, that's what I've just said, is that I understand the Academy going, we got to keep him here. How can we kick him out of here after all this? At the same time, you got to think about what that means, though, in the grand scheme of things. Does the Academy look like it's condoning violence? Well, you know, the Academy put out a 1-sentence condemnation that night. It seemed like too little too late, even though it came about 2 hours after it happened. But again, you have to realize that the show is playing out, so are they going to go and tweet something now? They want you to focus on the show. And even our office had emailed them Sunday night asking for comment. They never did reply, but Monday afternoon, I think it was, is when they put out that statement, a bit lengthier, that they were going to be exploring their different options. And, you know, so now this goes, let me just kind of touch upon all of those different arguments that I mentioned. You know, Tiffany Haddish very quickly spoke out, and her quote was, "When I saw a black man stand up for his wife, that meant so much to me. As a woman who has been unprotected, for someone to say, 'Keep my wife's name out your mouth, leave my wife alone,' that's what your husband is supposed to do, right? Protect you." Well, yes and no. I mean, here's the thing. So let's dive that one, or cut that one a few different ways. When I saw a black man stand up for his wife, she says. What does the color have to do with it? You know, this is the issue today with race. And I made a comment on Sunday night on Twitter saying, you know, what, did Will think this was the BET Awards, getting all slap happy or something like that? I was jumped on almost immediately, being called racist, blah, blah. If people had done their research, though, let me just point this out, that the BET, you know, Hip Hop Awards have had a history of violence. So that's what I'm talking about. Just because it's the black entertainment television. Just because somehow because I made that reference that I'm racist, somebody called me Wonder Bread, somebody was just bombarding me. Oh, let the world see that you're racist, blah, blah, blah. I was referencing violence at an award show because it happened to be a black man and a black award show. That truly is coincidental. That, right? I mean, so if that happened at the Grammys or the Country Music Awards, something like that, I would still make the reference and say that Will thought that he was at the CMT Awards or just some. It just so happened that violence has happened at the BET Awards, and that's what I'm talking about. But that's the go-to, and that's what drives me insane. And you can go and say, oh, you're a white guy, a privileged white guy making this. No, but this is how we're never going to get past anything if that's always the go-to. If that's always... We are told, let me just say, as a white man, I am told that I don't understand the privilege I have. I get it. I get it. I could also then play the victim and go, hey, you know what? I'm a gay man, and gay men have been discriminated against. I don't live my life like that. I have never, ever, ever. People asked me when the whole Bruce Jenner thing came out, oh, well, how do you feel about, him transitioning? Well, why would who cares what my opinion? Just because I'm a gay guy, my opinion is going to be any more important or any more relevant than any other human being? That I've never subscribed to things like that. I just haven't. I haven't. And so something like this, for Tiffany to go and say, well, as a black man, well, that's how we will never get beyond it. And that's how I'm just sick of hearing something like it's always. I worked with a graphic designer one time, and she was always this other employee was always picking on her because she was gay. I finally went and said, you know what? He knows that I'm gay, and maybe you're just a bitch. Maybe you're just a cunt, and he doesn't like you, and that's okay. Not everybody has to like you. So there's that side of the argument about the race, the color, the ethnicity, the culture, the background, whatever it is. But then what Tiffany's comment did for a lot of people that I saw on social media is go and say, well, this is perpetuating that stereotype or that generalization that, black men are violent and whatever. So you have some people in the black community then also going and saying, no, don't condone this. Don't go and say that that's the right thing to do, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So there's that. Now, then there's the whole thing about the offensive joke and how, Chris Rock was assaulted because of it. Let me tell you something. I was threatened because I said, now this is years ago, I was threatened because I said someone's dog was ugly. That was a personal attack to that person. They were a victim. Don't talk about my dog, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting here going, let's just pump the brakes a little bit. Let's dial this back and think about what is happening right now. This is your dog. Not that you had any say in what your dog looks like. This is the dog is the dog. And I just, you make a joke about, oh, your rat dog or whatever I had said to the person. And suddenly I was threatened, not physically like I'm going to get punched in the face, but just like, don't talk about that. My husband's going to blah, blah. And I'm sitting here going, okay, wait a second, woman, lady, really. I want you're going to be dispatching your husband to come and kick. This is where I could have flipped that around and said it was a hate crime. I could have said that I was attacked because I was a gay man, right? That's kind of the victim role that I should have played. Anyway. And I thought, wait a second, this is so weird. And so then this is where it gets juicier, was that I was then told, well, how would you like what if I said that about your mom? And this is where I say, I've never subscribed to that whole macho, don't talk about my mother, don't talk about my family. Who the fuck cares? It's a comment. It's a joke. Why am I going to get all red-faced, huffy-puffy, punch your face in because you make a comment about my mom? It's not even about whether I like my mom or not. It's not even about that my mom is a saint and my mom is a queen. My mom is a... Fuck that. Just on... That is just such bullshit. Again, that whole macho machismo, and then you got Tiffany Haddish going and saying this is, gentlemanly and gallant, that will protect his woman and whatever. Really, you want your man to be a goon like that? To protect his wife? Then walk out of the room. Walk out. Doing it after the fact, that's not protecting her. The joke was made. It's words. And again, you also have to realize that the Oscars is about jokes and making fun of each other and making fun of the movies. And I mean, then don't go if you're going to be a snowflake. You're fair game. As far as I'm concerned, if you're in show business, you're in a movie and or at the event, even if you're not at the event, you're fair game. That's part of the role. You expect it. Now, again, you could go and say, well, that was offensive, whatever. It's a joke. Kathy Griffin went and said this is going to start the ball rolling because now you're going to be worried about somebody coming up on stage at a comedy show, at a concert, at a award show, wherever, and punching your face in because they were offended by the joke. Well, and I've long said that comedians, they have it really tough right now because just of this whole snowflake generation. Everything is so offensive and whatever. Like, let's just dial that back. If I'm being threatened because I said that your dog is ugly, you need to realize that it's your emotions that need a check. I'll admit that I've got a dark sense of humor, a warped sense of humor, my colleague Tim will always say. But that's also why I get along with our team that we have here, is because we've known each other a long time. None of us is easily offended. We know how to, pick at each other and annoy each other and whatever. And then after that, we shake it off and it just continues on. So, I've got to wrap this up, I know, thank you. But, this whole thing about, Will shouldn't have hit somebody. You should never hit anybody for anything. That's where I've never understood the whole UFC kind of like entertainment of, beating the fuck out of somebody and having their face bleeding and their leg broken and whatever. Like, I just don't get that. But that's the society that we're in. So again, you can go and say UFC is different because those two are consenting to beating the shit out of each other, and Will went and just confronted and assaulted somebody. So what would it have been okay if these guys then squared off and just started punching the crap out of each other in combat mode because it was them both pursuing it? I mean, would that have been okay, that we're going to have this live brawl on television? Like, I don't know. So anyway, send me your thoughts live at jbonair.com, live at jbonair.com. We're back with Meredith Vieira right after this.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Can we do this segment in 23 words? It might be a really boring 8 minutes, but we'll try. No, I'm just kidding. Host of 25 Words or Less, Meredith Vieira, is on the line to talk about the game show's latest season. Hi, Meredith.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing okay. We're shooting, since season 2, we've been shooting bi-coastally. I'm in New York, and everybody else is in LA in their little pods. We did that because of the pandemic, and it's been working really well. I give Fox a lot of credit for coming up with a plan that would allow everybody to stay safe. So it's a little weird. I can never say that I'm running late for work since I only have to go down to the basement. But other than that, it's been effective, and the audience has seemed to take to it, to accept that it's a little bit different than it was season 1, and a lot of people are just discovering it for the first time too. Since the pandemic, they've been looking for things to watch on television and fallen into our show and stayed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that, TV production obviously was thrown for a loop with the pandemic. But, if there's one show that needs that, live audience, that in-person energy, it's a game show. But you've made the most of it, really.
We really have. We have our canned audience,
yeah.
And they're very responsive. It's okay. In an odd way, I find the show almost more intimate with everybody in pods because everybody's shot is a close-up. And when we were shooting on the set using couches, we didn't have that same vibe going. So it's a little bit different, but I think it works well in this format. It's sort of the Hollywood Squares format, essentially.
Yeah.
But it seems to do the job for us.
Hollywood, I would say maybe almost Brady Bunch, because it's very, very intimate.
Yes. Actually, you're right. It's more Brady Bunch. Absolutely.
This is one of those shows, though, that I guess ironically or coincidentally, people can play along at home. So, we're watching the rounds. We're even coming up with our own clues that we would say. So maybe it's fitting that everybody's kind of either at home or remote.
Absolutely. I think people are just looking for something entertaining, something to take their minds off of what's going on around them. Certainly in the beginning of the pandemic, when people were really hunkered down, that's when a lot of people discovered us. And then, as I said before, just stayed. But yeah, we have folks all the time who say we have super fans now. We invite people to audition to be a super fan, and they come on, and no matter what happens, if somebody goes to that bonus round in the end and wins the $10,000, they automatically get $1,000. At the very least, they get the game and the experience of being on TV, and people seem to really like that. But almost every single one that comes on virtually says that they scream at the television. That they are playing along, and sometimes they're shouting their answers, or they're screaming at the players, "Why didn't you say this?" So in that sense, it is interactive.
Absolutely. So you have the Superfan sweepstakes. You have the home game that people can play. Are you getting a cut of those sales? Should we promote it again? Do you want to say it again?
I don't think, you know what? I should have asked that question. I sure hope so, but I don't know. I do know that it sold out very quickly. I was really excited. And then my agent said, well, they probably didn't make that many copies, first round. That's a helpful thing for you to say to me. But, yeah, it's great to see it come back, because the man who developed it, Bruce, who also developed Taboo, that's his game as well, 25 Words or Less was always his favorite of everything he's ever done. So it's kind of cool that the board game has been re-released and a whole new generation of folks can discover it.
And there's also just something about game shows. I mean, when we think about the different TV trends that we've seen over the years, whether it's, soap operas or daytime talk shows or crime shows, I mean, game shows are the ones that have been around for... we were just watching Match Game 74 last night. There's just something about a game show.
Oh. I know, and I don't know that secret sauce, what it is. But, that's above my pay grade. But I've always been a fan of game shows myself since I was a little kid. Maybe because you can play along, and it's self-contained in that half hour. You always sort of know what you're going to get. That I'm not surprised people take to it. And it's also, like I said, it's just pure entertainment. It's fun, and sometimes you learn a little something. I think one of the great appeals about Jeopardy is that you really do walk away from that show learning stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially with 25 words or less. I mean, it really does. It makes you realize how many extra words that we use that we don't need, right? I mean, I was a journalism student. I'm a broadcaster, so I've always had fun with words. But, my husband is Brazilian. His first language is Portuguese. And he'll ask me, well, what's the difference between dinner and supper? Or, cabinet and cupboard? Or the one that got me in trouble, Meredith, you'll appreciate this one, is for him, mad means crazy. For me, it meant angry. So I kept asking him why he's crazy, but I meant angry. So this show gives you, it makes you think about the words that we use.
Yeah, and you discover when you play 25 words or less how hard it is to use only a few words. It's really a struggle. You think it would be the opposite. But people, grasping for that, you really want to try to do it in one word. That rarely happens. One clue word, but struggling to find it, it's tough. It's a tough exercise.
It is. And it's funny, too, because when you think about the celebrity guests that you have on the show, I mean, Matt Eisman, try to get him to use one word ever, even just outside of the game. I mean, come on.
And yet he's so good, Jeremy. He's really, really good at the game.
Oh, absolutely. Competitive, but good. And this is he called you Mayor. Now, I've got to upstage him. Can I call you MVP, Meredith Vieira Perfection? Is that allowed? Can I do that, MVP? Can I?
Well, yeah, I would hope so. Somebody's got to. It will be you. But growing up, I didn't want to be, I liked my name Meredith because nobody had it when I was a little kid. I didn't want to be Mary, nothing against Mary. My mother's name is Mary, but I didn't want it shortened. And then it sort of became Mayor. So that one I'll accept. Or MVP. Yes, that one I'll also accept.
What's the most fun about doing this show? I've always, on the radio we've got contests and giveaway. I just love giving away other people's money and stuff. I mean, is that one of the fun things?
I was just about to say, yep. It's really, I love giving away money. So many folks, I talk about this with regard to Millionaire. I hosted that syndicated version for, it was 11 years. And during quite a few years of hosting that show, we were going through very bad times in this country. Nothing like the pandemic, but in terms of the economy. And it meant that money, when I first started hosting, that money, the people would, want to get the $1 million so they could buy a yacht or they could get a new home or whatever. And then they were playing literally for their kids' education. They were playing to pay the mortgage the next month, those sort of things. So to think that you're maybe making a real impact on somebody's life that is really significant just by playing this game, that always, I mean, I love doing it, but also humbles me a lot in terms of the job itself. And I like making people laugh, giving them a little bit of entertainment every day. There's no harm done with that. It's the kind of job you leave at the end of the day, and you just feel good.
I was going to say, you go home and feel good, but you haven't left home, so...
No, I haven't left home. I mean, the good thing is, on a day like today, it's beautiful. I'm sitting outside right now talking to you, and I think the group that I work with, we have a very small group that are in New York. There's only 5 of us, and we're very close. We've all become, 2 of them I already knew, but the other 2 I did not know before, and we're all like family now. And you feel that when you're shooting out of someone's home. It's just really nice. But the other side, as I said before, is I can never be late for anything. And I like going to work. I like going to a place that says work to me in my head. And so it's a little bit odd to combine them both.
Let's shift gears quickly just as we wrap up, because you were very much like a family on The View back in the day, and something that I've wanted to ask you for years, and I think you've been asked it before. Who was the better kisser, Barbara Walters or Joy Behar? Keep it real here, Meredith. Come on, you're MVP, right? You got to be honest.
Well, I'm going to be. Barbara held back a little bit. She held back, but I don't think she was committed to it. She wasn't sure. Joy doesn't hold back on anything.
Oh, yeah.
I have to say, Joy was a little sloppier, but that's okay.
But we expect that, though, from her.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And in honor, by the way, of one of your most famous moments on The View, I should tell everybody that I am not wearing underwear for this chat, which is why they keep me at home when we don't have to be anymore in the studio. So, just for you, Meredith.
Well, I'm behind a podium now since the pandemic, and you'll never know what I'm wearing or not wearing.
That's why I got into radio, so nobody would ever have to see me. I can, that's... And now they insist on it for some reason. They insist on it.
You got a face for radio.
Well, we're going to be watching at 25 words or less. Everybody, as they say, check your local listings. And Meredith Vieira, thank you so much for chatting. It's been fun.
Thank you so much. You take care. Stay safe.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. My thanks to Meredith Vieira for joining us. And also, I have to kind of say thank you to Will Smith, because this is, in all honesty, I've been an entertainment host and reporter for over 15 years. I've hosted our daily entertainment headline show called Entertainment Wrap Up for, I think it's probably about 12 years now at this point. We have never, we just checked during the course of this show, we have never actually had one singular story dominate our 3-minute entertainment headline show for a week. So congrats to Will Smith for being a giant, violent douchebag. Thank you, Will Smith, for giving us something to talk about. Feel free to give me a... this is absolutely true. We've never... Think about that. Every day on our show, we've had a development where it's been, Chris Rock comments, Jada Pinkett Smith comments, the Academy comments. We talk about the original story. Amy Schumer and them chime in. Like it's really been literally a week of just that story on our show. So anyway, feel free to give me a shout. It's always awesome hearing from you. My email address is live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Oh, it's April Fool's Day. Yeah, you bunch of fools for listening to us. Oh, yeah, the comedy doesn't get any better. And remember, the Grammys are this weekend, so don't forget to not watch, because the award show ratings, they really do need to take a bigger hit to send Hollywood a message that says, everybody, get over yourself. Will Smith, get over yourself. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye for now, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,